DANDADAN. You can't escape it. You never know what you're about to get into when watching this series. One second it's a comedic romance, next second there's a cow being abducted by a UFO. It all starts off in your typical anime classroom setting, with our heroine Momo crying over her boyfriend breaking up with her. And I don't know why she's depressed, since he literally kicked her. You a victim. But apparently that's okay, since he looked like Ken Takakura. And then there's this guy who's not cool at all and is getting bullied until Momo comes to save the day. Bro is shivering trying to thank her for saving him. He's clearly never had a friend in his life, let alone some female interaction. What would you do in this situation? A, thank her and keep it pushing. B, ask for her number. C, ask her if she'd like to be friends. Or D, shove your love for ghosts into her face to the point where she crashes out on you and hits you with the...
That right there is why you got no friends.
Damn!
Momo ends up picking the magazine back up and tells the otaku she likes ghosts. So bro gets his get back and simply laughs at her stupidity. And after their quick scuffle, they challenge each other to prove which one of their beliefs is real.
Later that night,
Bro arrives at the most sus tunnel ever, and to nobody's surprise, he discovers a ghost. Meanwhile, Momo has these freaky ass aliens pull up and abduct her. Next thing she knows, she's in a UFO surrounded by these freakazoids. They trying to fuck! Granny pulls up, but turns out it's using the otaku as a vessel, and the freakazoids end up transforming, but pervy Granny ends up getting her one before being one-shotted.
flashback.
Ever since bro was legit, he was fascinated with UFOs, but sadly, one never came. But he still dedicated his life to extraterrestrials, even if it meant no one would acknowledge his existence. But that all changed when Momo saved him. But Momo also had a rough upbringing. She grew up without her parents, and her spirit medium grandma was her guardian instead, which resulted in her having to perform a good luck ritual before stepping outside. And everyone bullied her, even her crush. I see why she be crashing out now. This is the type shit you see in a villain origin story.
End of flashback.
Due to her supernatural background, plus the freakians messing with her brainwaves earlier, she's able to awaken her psychic powers, allowing her to one-shot the last alien and force the granny out of the otaku's body. But the granny ended up stealing his meat, so now he's meatless. The UFO ends up crashing, but the duo is able to survive. But wait a minute, what's this nigga's name?
ねえ、そういえば名前なんだっけ？うち名前覚えるの苦手でさ。
高倉健です。
Momo starts tweaking out since the otaku's real name is Ken Takakura, so she bans him from saying his own government, and from now on, he shall be called Okarun. They end up arriving at Momo's granny spot, but Okarun almost gets cooked alive since Momo forgot to remove the barrier seal, but thankfully, there's water nearby, so he gets to cool off. Plus, he got a fro now! They take a quick halftime break in the crib before shortly getting disrupted by a ghost at the door that just happened to spawn in because Momo took too long to put the barrier seal back up. And when they walk outside, they're greeted to a sumo alien. They decide to do what they do best, run, before shortly getting bitch slapped into a corner. But in the heat of the moment, Okarun comes up with the genius idea to let Momo release the physical curse to a point where he can control it. This nigga is swaggy as fuck in this form. He ends up chopping off all of the sumo spirit's fingers and talks like a nonchalant dreadhead. Maybe he does stand a chance against this ghost after all.
This nigga is trash.
Thankfully, Momo understands it now and comes to the conclusion all they gotta do is make the alien trip in order to weaken it. So Okarun gets his bitch ass up and blitzes right towards the spirit's leg to make it fall and touch the ground. And just like they planned, one of his arms ends up disappearing. But right before the other one could touch the ground, it spawns in legs to break its fall, grabs Momo, and puts her in a mean ass combo. But it was all part of her master plan to make a crater deep enough to protect Okarun from getting burned when the seal gets put back up. So she uses her powers to grab Okarun and puts the seal back up. I can already tell Momo is gonna end up being the MVP of this series. She ends up passing out from exhaustion, and Okarun begins to lose control again. But have no fear, since the real granny is here. What a beautiful performance from Seiko. That's what I call a 5-star debut. Momo wakes up and instantly goes searching for Okarun just to find her granny watching TV. And I ain't ever seen 50 look so good. Momo ends up apologizing to Seiko for doubting that ghosts were real when she was younger. And in return, Seiko tells her where Okarun is, and Momo starts sprinting, worried sick that she might be the reason he's dead. Yeah, she just fell in love with a nerd. That's tough. Seiko spawns in out of nowhere, and she already knows what time it is. Her granddaughter is a tsundere. They end up talking about pervy granny, who's technically called Turbo Granny. I'm gonna keep calling her pervy granny because she likes little niggas' balls and shit. Turns out she's known for being the fastest and resides in that tunnel now because she fused with a location-bound spirit. TLDR, she basically says the key to beating her is to beat her in a race, and Okarun is the key to that.
The next morning.
Okarun wakes up on the verge of shitting his pants and loses all his manhood when he's forced to take a shit in front of Momo, since pervy granny can take over his body at any second. Her grandma ends up telling her that her initial powers were most likely sealed off after her awakening, and she's most likely gonna have to train in order to get back to that initial strength. And speak of the devil, Momo lets her eyes off Okarun for 1 second, and pervy granny pulls up, challenging Momo and Okarun to fight her at the tunnel. And if not, she'll use Okarun to curse everyone around him to death. And as soon as she despawns, Seiko regains her consciousness and is on timing. She ends up giving Momo and Okarun spirit-proof fits in preparation for their face-off. But most importantly, she gives Momo a heartfelt hug, asking her to promise not to die. And just like that, they're off to challenge the pervy granny.
The battle for the weenie. Granny versus Okarun and Momo.
They finally arrive at the tunnel and eventually run into a dead end. But as soon as they turn around, another worm spawns in. So in order to escape, Okarun transforms, but pervy granny takes her power back from him before he can do any damage. And it looks like it's over until...
She's so fast, she thinks no one can run away from her. So if you challenge her, she'll accept without thinking twice about it.
If you really like that, you challenge me to a race right now. But it seems to me that you a pussy-ass bitch.
There's no way I'd lose to a tomboy like you.
I bet. Count for 10 minutes, and in the meantime, we'll hit the jets. I should've knew this granny a cheater.
You didn't say how to count to 10 minutes, dumbass. Now it's your turn. Let me get that weenie back, boy.
No! I'm gonna suck on them tits! Oh my god, Okarun, you actually did something.
Crapsbeard, fuck these bitches up!
A few moments later.
They end up playing Subway Surfers IRL, but instead of a police officer, it's a giant crab. Shout out Momo though, since she comes up with the genius idea to bait the crab into a hot spring in order to immobilize it. But they end up getting cornered by zombies, because why the fuck not? It's DANDADAN, and when the fuck did the crab get here? Okarun taps back into turbo mode, and oh my fucking god, they're about to run away again!
Supersonic racing, gotta keep your feet right on the ground. When you're supersonic racing, there's no time to look around. We're just supersonic racing, running to the point of no return. Everybody's supersonic racing, come on, let the fire burn.
It's finally over. Nah, psych, you thought, boy. Momo accidentally let go of pervy granny, and now she's back for her vengeance alongside the other spirits. But Momo decides to challenge the pervy granny to one last race, but this time it's a 1 second countdown, since she uses her psychic powers to put her and Okarun on the train. But pervy granny is still able to catch up to them, and this was all part of Momo's plan to bait the perv into Seiko's trap. Call this shit a checkmate, bruh, cause this little race is over.
Later that same evening.
What a better way to celebrate than eating the crab you literally just killed. And to nobody's surprise, Okarun is bitching again. So Seiko chases him to go beat his ass. Meanwhile, Momo is having the time of her life. It's time for the duo to split their ways, but is it a forever type of goodbye or see you later type of goodbye?
Okarun! Mata
It's a new day, and to Okarun's surprise, Momo is waiting for him, and bro is blushing during the whole walk to class. But ain't shit changed since he's still getting bullied. Meanwhile, Momo is head over heels just thinking about talking to Okarun later. The bell rings and both of them instantly start looking for each other, but they keep missing each other by the smallest margins. Like, turn your head, nigga, she's right there. Momo ends up in the courtyard, and look who's right behind her. But for plot convenience, she doesn't look to the side. So once she gets up, the ship is real! Momo is blushing like crazy, and just as if things couldn't get worse, her friends caught her kissing a dweeb in 4K. So she starts lashing out on Okarun, saying she'd never make out with a nerd like him. They out here arguing like a married couple, and just like any married couple argument, they stop talking to each other as soon as it's over.
Oh man, I love Christmas. I also love taking a piss on Christmas. I also like pissing on my family's presents on Christmas. I like a lot about Christmas. Where the hell are my balls?
Do you like Okarun? Do you like him? Do you want him to bone you? Do you want him to bone you?
Shut up! He's not my boyfriend! I also say, look at this. Oh, hey, Pookie, how's it going?
Oh, he's totally your boyfriend.
Is not! Stop lying!
Stop moaning. Stop moaning. It's like low-key attractive.
What I meant to say was that my balls are gone! Well, that's what happens when you don't bend over for me!
Okarun does his depressed walk home and bumps into a girl on accident, and she starts gassing him up. And then Momo spawns in and is hella confused on how this woman knows Okarun. This girl walks by Momo and starts talking mad shit about Okarun, essentially calling him a whole ass peon. So Momo decides to take things into her own hands. She then proceeds to grab onto Okarun and exits the school with swag. She later apologizes to Okarun for lashing out on him in front of everybody earlier. Truth be told, she enjoys talking to him more than anyone else. And then Okarun just casually reveals his balls are missing, and it cuts to her laughing hysterically, and Seiko instantly realizes something sus is going on. So she slaps Okarun on the back, and Momo rips the spirit out of him that then brings his cat figure to life, and it casually hits the dash. It's a Minecraft manhunt to hunt it down. Momo taps into her psychic powers and grabs its aura, resulting in it being stunned when they catch up to it. And turns out the cat is the pervy granny herself. She was hiding herself inside Okarun the whole time, but this ends up backfiring since her powers still remain inside of Okarun. Only her consciousness is in the cat figure. So Momo tries to talk no jutsu pervy granny into giving Okarun his balls back in exchange for her powers. And
Give him back!
I don't have them, I swear. I sort of lost them. I'm not sure where.
the search for Okarun's balls has begun. And of course, this pink-haired bitch has one of them. Introducing Aira. She's the cliche narcissistic pretty girl who views everyone else below her. She just loves to lead guys on, which is why she teased Okarun the day before. But since she discovered one of the balls, her third eye awakened, and now she can see Momo's psychic arms. So in order to get her get back, she starts spreading rumors that Momo is a bop. And when Okarun arrives at class, he finds out about these rumors and essentially uses Conqueror's Haki on the guy who told them before casually resuming his day, and then proceeds to get interrupted by pervy granny. So he hits the jimmies, and bro in the back is just as confused as I am, but he bumps into Momo to tell her the news before being interrupted by Aira, and she only wants to talk to Momo, so they end up getting separated. Aira ends up bringing Momo to the most suspect spot ever and jumps her ass, but Momo easily gets rid of Aira's friends. How the fuck are they not dead? Aira tries to use Okarun's ball to exorcise Momo like she's some sort of demon, and then a real demon spawns in and swoops her. Okarun swoops in and instantly dashes towards it, but gets eaten. And for some reason, this yokai has a very strong obsession with Aira, but Aira calls her a monster, so she eats her and gets triggered, then proceeds to beat the fuck out of Momo before eating her as well. And then she turns into Dabi. Turns out that cross Aira was holding was a lighter, and pervy granny told Momo to use it on the yokai's hair before she got eaten. That's that old head ball knowledge right there. And as soon as the gang is spat out, they instantly prepare for a counterattack, but Acrobatic Silky Silky starts raging, so Okarun gets to running away, but he gets slapped and lets go of Aira. But right before Acrobatic Silky can go to hold of her, she gets stuck because her hair got tied up while she was rampaging, but she uses brute force to break out of it. But Momo uses her psychic powers to create an opportunity for Okarun to finish her off. But this nigga doesn't know how to do it, and Momo is just as surprised as we are. Acrobatic Silky breaks through Momo's arms and it looks like it's game over, but then Okarun clutches up with the headbutt. Momo and Okarun are able to come out alive yet again, and Perfect Granny even collects Okarun's ball. But there's one big problem. Aira has no pulse, so Momo instantly tries to resurrect her with her psychic powers, but it's no use. And to make things worse, Acrobatic Silky is back up now.
Please use my aura to bring Aira back to life.
Wasn't you just trying to eat us? Why the fuck would we trust you? Holy fuck, this bitch is crazy. I still don't trust her though, so make sure to take her out if she makes a move, Okarun. Tell me what you want me to do, Silky.
All you have to do is see my backstory.
I bet. God, that was absolute cinema. With the power of emotional flashbacks, Aira comes back to life, but since she absorbed Acrobatic Silky's aura, Silky will cease to exist. But before she does, Aira gives her one last hug, reminding her of her daughter from her previous life. Rest in peace, Acrobatic Silky. You will be remembered forever in anime history for having one of the saddest backstories ever.
Later that night.
They end up having a celebration dinner, and Aira is head over heels for Okarun, but she's conflicted since he believes he's a demon under Momo's control. So she declares that she'll liberate Okarun from Momo's control and storms off. Seems like the love she has for Ken is genuine now, and you know what that means. It's love triangle time! Okarun is doing the Saitama workout before being disrupted by Aira, who is in full lover girl mode as he goes for the kiss. But Okarun isn't with it, because no means no. He starts playing Kawhi Leonard defense, but that's not stopping Aira as he puts them in her ideal position, and then Momo sees them, and all hell breaks loose. Okarun chases Momo down, saying he's sorry, which makes no sense since they're literally just friends. But Momo ain't having it. My boy Okarun ain't phased though, since he's focused on the grind. But shortly after, he's put in a domain expansion, similar to the one he was in when he and Momo fought the Sumo alien. Luckily, he's able to find Aira. Meanwhile, Momo is all by herself and stuck with God fucking Zilla, who's casually doing blast breaths. Cut back to Ken and Aira, and now there's a boxing alien who wants all the smoke. He goes in for a punch, but Ken transforms and protects Aira from him. But as soon as Ken's about to fight back, he gets hit with gravity, and the sus aliens from episode 1 are back to steal Ken to meet. But as soon as they're about to start the operation, Aira comes to the rescue in her new form, and she's putting that work in before shortly getting snuck by a freakazoid and punched in the next classroom. But before they can finish her off, Ken rises back up to save the day with no clothes on, and then proceeds to have the least menacing transformation ever. Peep what Aira's looking at, by the way. The freakazoid uses gravity, and he got my nigga arched up. Hey yo! Okarun somehow is able to break through the gravity manipulation and headbutts the boxing alien with his cheeks out. But the only reason he was able to do this was due to Momo negating the freaky alien's power. Bro pulls a cell and uses his extra organs to inject his DNA into the boxer and gives him a power-up, and he instantly blitzes Ken and Aira, but they get up and counterattack in sync. They was on the Kyrie and Lucas shit, but this is cut short after the water turns green and rises up out of nowhere. Godzilla has arrived and Okarun can't stop geeking over it, and we're Aira W for being supportive. And then Godzilla decides to one-shot one of the freaks, so Momo and Okarun hit the jets, leaving Aira behind to get sent to Narnia. It was the boxer alien who did this, and for some reason he punches harder when underwater, so Okarun goes turbo mode in order to counterattack, but that doesn't work since pervy granny can't swim. But Momo comes up with another genius idea to turn Okarun into a living surfboard. Using her powers to pull him back and forth, they blast off into the ceiling and recover Aira. We enter a quick intermission after Aira is saved and call this shit Kill la Kill, since no one has clothes and they're bringing this fight straight to the ops. The last remaining Freakazoid, the boxer, and Godzilla all fuse together, but Aira still goes in for the kick and gets owned alongside with the rest of the gang, and Momo wakes up all by herself.
Aw, Chucks, you don't seem to have any golden balls, so you don't really have any purpose. But seeing you drown to death isn't any fun. I'll just finish you myself.
It's called foreshadowing, dickhead. Earlier in the episode, I was learning about how a mantis can't go all out on land, but it was cut out the video in order to keep it engaging. So I created a hole in the water just as you were about to go 100%, so your body can implode on some Deku shit.
It's gonna take a lot more than plot convenience to defeat me, bitch.
You want the golden nut? Then you can have it. You bitch ass!
I love you. Thank you for being solid.
The trio was sent to the nurse's office right after the incident, and she's a fucking freak. Her assistant pulls up and she literally whips him. Aira's friends arrive and instantly remove her from the premise, leaving Momo and Okarun alone. And Okarun finally tells Momo what led to him and Aira being in the position they were once she found them. And Momo can't stop blushing after finding out he wanted to get stronger without her knowing. And it looks like they finally about to have a moment.
We found you. Okarun's here too. Don't scare me like that. Now you.
Meanwhile, Aira is crashing out because it turns out she was also involved in the incident, and when her supporters started badmouthing Momo, she decided to come clean of starting the rumors. And would you look who it is? They end up putting their differences aside for the meantime, and Mantis Strip wakes up and the whole squad is here. They give him some curry and invite him to their very chaotic dinner, and after, he finally tells its origin. He comes from a planet of war and his son is very sick, so in order to pay for his treatment, he takes sketchy jobs. Okarun wants to help him out, but there's not much he can realistically do, so Mantis takes his leave before being stunned by Seiko, who notices he smells like something very familiar. Remember how when Mantis spawned back in, he was surrounded by a white liquid? Well, turns out his blood is milk, and drinking it for the first time changes his life forever. So he captures a cow in his UFO to take home. Everyone is shocked except Momo. She's just happy to be here. The day still isn't over since we cut to the trio begging Seiko to get them new uniforms, and she decides to buy them new ones except for Momo. She has to do an impression of Hirosho Abe, and there just happens to be someone at the door.
JiJi?
Who the fuck is this nigga, bro?
モモの幼馴染で初恋相手だ。
Yeah, there's trouble in paradise. The nigga who made fun of Momo when they were younger, aka her first crush, is back. And to make things worse, he's here to live with Momo because his parents have fallen ill, and worst of all, he has a crush on Momo now. My nigga Okarun is getting mogged in 4K. Meanwhile, Aira is still convinced this is part of Momo's plan to take over the world and storms off. And Okarun takes his depressed ass home as well. But Momo is very agitated.
また明日でしょ。次オカルンが言う番。
また明日。
よし。
The next morning.
Okarun can't stop thinking about how close Momo and JiJi are. He literally drew scenarios of him getting cucked and imagined it too. He's beyond obsessed, and his worst dreams are becoming a reality as JiJi is officially in Momo's class and he sits right next to her. My man's Okarun is back on the grind now.
There you are.
Momo is here to comfort Okarun, but just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score. As JiJi spawns out of nowhere and instantly makes Momo blush. This nigga Okarun is in the strut.
If you wasn't invited, don't ask to go.
He slowly exits the premise, and now there's a running man heading right towards him. The running man blows past him and is on pace towards Momo, but JiJi has a clutch, and oh my god, is that Okarun's second nut? Nah, I wish. It's just a shiny Christmas ornament. That's not stopping Momo from chasing the specimen though, so now Okarun has to do the dash yet again.
Here we go!
Momo grabs onto Okarun, but this nigga is crazy as he tries to isekai Momo and JiJi, but now Okarun clutches up. He launches off a speeding car, and now this chase really looking like Rooftop Run. They finally get bro cornered, but right before he's captured, he disassembles himself. Look at Okarun's reaction, man. What a chill guy. Bro reassembles himself like he got the chop fruit. Fuck being a running man. He buggied a clown. The gang ends up losing track of him, but Momo has an ace up her sleeve. They find bro laying on the ground with his ass out, and Momo might be the second coming of Satan since she was beating this nigga's heart up and put the peace sign up after finding him in pain. That's not stopping bro from completing his mission though, as he climbs upon the scrapyard, and after shoveling through the top, he stumbles upon what he was looking for, the love of his life. And even though she's not in the best condition, that doesn't stop him from confessing his love to her. This is true love, and seeing this makes Okarun compare his relationship with Momo to theirs, and from this point on, he'll dedicate his life to keeping her safe.
1 hour later.
This woman needs a space to stay, and what a better place than the Ayase household. They already got a talking cat, for fuck's sake. Seiko casually takes her in, and this nigga JiJi already back on offense. This nigga takes the lint out of Momo's hair and makes her hit the shy blush. Oh my goodness. Okarun went from Kawhi Leonard defense to D-Lo defense real quick, and this nigga JiJi got no filter as he starts mocking him in front of Momo's face. The running man is back at it. Bro jumps out the school and hit the Nika pose on a crescent moon. Man's is even subway hopping. Nothing is stopping him from seeing his lover. Did this nigga just get truck-cooned? Cut to his lover, and Momo is assisting her. And as soon as the sun starts rising, he's there like Jesus Christ. And Momo is just happy to be in the presence of two lovers. Next stop is JiJi's haunted house. Will the gang come out of it alive? Will JiJi continue to play elite offense on Momo? And will Okarun finally find his second nut? Shit, nigga. I don't know, but make sure to like the video and subscribe and hit the bell to be a part of the Noti Gang for when I drop DANDADAN Season 2 in minutes. Next up is Cursed House Arc, and I'll see y'all there.
今日も寝れないじゃんよ。あいつのせいで。